Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is the latest street news coming from London. And before we start, we can't ignore the fact that marches across the world are taking place in support of the Palestinian people. Tens of thousands of people have took to London, Madrid and elsewhere, and even here in Birmingham, to protest against the bombing of Gaza. They march in support of the Palestinians on Saturday as the worst violence in years raged between Israel and militants in Gaza. In London, several thousand people carried placards reading "Stop Bombing Gaza" and chanting "Free Palestine", and they converged on Marble Arch near the British capital's Hyde Park to march towards the Israeli embassy. In Madrid, some 2,500 people, many of them young people, wrapped up in Palestinian flags, marched on the Porto del Sol Plaza in the city centre. They said, "This is not a war, this is genocide. They are massacring us," said another protester. The Israeli bombardment began on Monday after Gaza's Islamist rulers Hamas fired rockets towards Jerusalem. And that was in response to the Israeli police's action at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in the compound in Jerusalem, which injured 168 Palestinians and 39 children, and also killed 10 children during airstrikes. So please think about the children of Palestine tonight and urge your local councillors to lobby your government to do more to help. In this latest episode of London Street News, 6 men have been jailed after a drug operation revealed 104 kilos of cocaine. Officers have valued it at the very high end, as they usually do, at £10 million. But in wholesale, this would have been around £4.5 to £5 million. Sentencing for the gang took place on Tuesday the 11th of May at Southwark Crown Court. Commander Richard Smith said this was a successful and intricate investigation, and 6 defendants are going to prison for transporting millions of pounds worth of drugs into and out of London. The operation began on the 23rd of October 2020 when Scott Bradley, who was under police surveillance, was seen to meet with Barry Wilkinson in a secluded road in Old Windsor. A package was handed over to Bradley and they drove north in a VW van on the M40 towards Birmingham. At Warwick, services Met Police stopped Bradley and carried out a search of the van and revealed a sophisticated concealment, revealing 7 kilos of cocaine. Intelligence gained from Bradley's sat-nav suggested that he'd been heading to the Solihull area of Birmingham, and on the 29th of October 2020, Wilkinson was seen to go into a shopping centre in Staines where he bought a number of sports bags. He was later seen putting things into the different holdalls and went into a transit van in Walton-upon-Thames area. The Ford Transit was then seen driving to the Norfolk area with 4 holdalls that were removed by co-defendants David Green and Darryl Logan. They took the bags into an address that was raided by uniformed officers who arrested both men. It was at this address that the biggest seizure was made, with a recovery of 104 kilos of cocaine. Police discovered 110 kilos. Wilkinson was arrested in the car park at the rear of an address in Engham, and the last 2 defendants were caught in the following months when police linked the VW van that was being driven by Bradley on the 23rd of October 2020 to Stephen Glynn and Cole Thompson. Information uncovered during the investigation proved that Glynn, Thompson and Bradley had been acting as drug couriers and were using the van. On Tuesday the 3rd of March, all 6 men pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. Cole Thompson, Scott Bradley were jailed for 5 years and 6 months. And on Tuesday the 11th of May, David Green, Barry Wilkinson and Darryl Logan were sentenced to 9 years, but David Green was given 13.5. In some other news coming from North London, a man who was involved in aggravated burglaries of elderly residents and threatened them with a screwdriver has been jailed. Michael Morn from Enfield was sentenced to Wood Green Crown Court on the 14th of May to 8 years. Michael tried to evade justice by absconding during the trial, but the police were able to track his movements and bring him back before the court. He faced a lengthy sentence after the trial. On the 28th of April 2020, he knocked on the door of a house belonging to an elderly couple in Hermitage Road in Haringey. The 83-year-old woman answered the door and was pushed to the side by men carrying screwdrivers. They demanded property and took rings from the woman's finger. Later the same morning, they smashed their way into an 84-year-old's house in Edmonton, and the woman was captured on her own surveillance system trying to flee from the two men, and her screams were recorded on camera. She was threatened with the screwdriver and they took money from her home. And that just goes to show the levels that some people will stoop to actually obtain money. Like, this person could have been your nan, your mom. Some people just don't care. So I hope these two men sort their lives out when they come out of prison and don't do this again. And in a follow-up to a video that we did the other day, police said that they've seized 400 knives in an operation across London. During the national operation, the Metropolitan Police used tactics such as knife arches, and they said they've seized 411 knives. They did weapon sweeps as well, so this isn't just the knife arches. They tried to recover dangerous weapons doing patrols and search warrants also to target high harm offenders. The operation ran from the 26th of April to the 2nd of May and resulted in a total of 411 knives found, and some of them were machetes, Rambo knives, lock knives and kitchen knives. 166 other weapons, 994 arrests, 3,227 weapon sweeps, 9 knife arch deployments, 11 automatic number plate recognition deployments, and 74 warrants were executed. The Metropolitan Police, working with the British Transport Police, used dogs and knife arches across the transport hubs to deter people from bringing weapons onto trains and in the tube station. And we covered this earlier on in the week, and I thought it would be good to give an update onto what they actually said they were going to accomplish. In this other story, a man called Ovidius Margellus has been found guilty at Gxng Crown Court after an investigation by the Metropolitan Crime Terrorist Command in a series of self-igniting devices sent via the UK postal system as part of a planned fraud. And he has been jailed for 23 months. Margellus posted a number of packages containing pyrotechnic devices, and this was part of a plan to claim compensation back from Amazon if they were damaged when the recipients opened them. The counter-terrorism quickly got onto this and started to investigate him. They arrested him within 2 days, and they said his actions were extremely dangerous and reckless, that were capable of causing injury. Margellus told officers in interviews that his plan was to claim money back from the postal service for the damage and loss of expensive items that he had mailed. In reality, the parcels he sent did not contain the items he was going to say they did. So what a bizarre plan that he actually had to try to do, and the fact that he got the terrorism police involved while he was trying to commit fraud. So I really appreciate you joining me today. I thought these were some really interesting stories coming from the UK, and I really want to hear what people have to say. Please don't forget to follow us online as well at Scarcity Studios, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.